You see, life doesn't ask for your permission to keep moving forward. It moves with or without your participation. The question is, are you moving with it, or are you still stuck in who you used to be? Let me ask you something real simple. Have you ever looked in the mirror and said, "That's not who I want to be anymore"? If so, that's good. That's powerful. Because awareness is the beginning of transformation. You were not designed to stay the same. You were designed to evolve, to grow, to destroy the old version of yourself and create something better. And I want to take you on that journey today. A journey not of fantasy, but of discipline, reflection, and new decisions. The past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. That's one of those lines worth writing down, worth taping to your bathroom mirror, because some people, they don't just visit the past, they live there. They take up residence in old mistakes. They build homes out of disappointment. They decorate the walls with regret. And they wonder why the view never changes. Let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. You can't build a new life while living in an old mindset. The past is useful, yes. It's a classroom. It's where we get our lessons. But you don't stay in school forever. You graduate. You move on. Some people don't. They carry the past around like a heavy coat, even in summer, even when it's no longer serving them. Why? Because it's familiar. And sometimes familiar feels safer than new. But listen, familiar isn't always right. Comfortable doesn't always mean correct. The past has its place, but it doesn't belong in your future plans. You were not meant to repeat yesterday. You were meant to create tomorrow. Let me ask you something. If someone handed you a map that led you straight into a dead end, would you keep following it? Of course not. You'd stop. You'd reroute. So why do we keep following old patterns, old beliefs, old limitations? It's because we haven't taken the time to stop and say, this isn't who I am anymore. Now listen, I'm not saying the past doesn't matter. It does, but only as a reference, a place to look back on, not a place to live in. I remember when I was broke, not just financially, but mentally. I had pennies in my pocket and excuses in my mouth. And for a while, I kept rehearsing the same old lines. I didn't come from money. I didn't have the right education. I'm too far behind. But then someone told me, Jim, those are just stories you keep telling yourself. And they were right. I was telling myself a version of the past. That gave me permission to stay small. But one day I decided, no more. No more rehearsing failure. No more repeating the same sad chapter. Because the book wasn't over. It was just the first act. And I had a choice: keep rereading the same page or turn it. You do too. You can choose to stay trapped in the old you, or you can walk forward into the new. But you can't do both. You cannot determine your future if you are still reacting to your past. Let it go. Let it teach you, but not trap you. Let it shape you, but not shackle you. If you're going to live a great life, a fulfilled life, you've got to pack your bags, thank the past for its lessons, and move out. Because your future, it won't wait forever. It's calling. And it's not calling the old you. It's calling the new one. Time to answer. If you want to change your life, you've got to change your philosophy. Not your job. Not your income. Not your surroundings. Your philosophy. Because your personal philosophy, that's what drives everything else. It's the way you think. It's the filter you use to interpret life. It's the set of beliefs that guides every choice you make. And here's what I discovered. If you change your philosophy, you change your results. If you don't, nothing changes. You see, success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become starts with the way you think. When I was 25, I was working hard, real hard. But I was broke, not because of a lack of effort, but because of a lack of insight. I was planting seeds, but in the wrong soil. I had to learn something vital. Hard work is only part of the equation. You've also got to think right. Because effort without direction is just movement. And movement isn't always progress. So how do you build a new life? You start with new ideas, new input, new philosophy. That's why books matter. That's why mentors matter. That's why what you feed your mind matters. If you keep thinking the same, you'll keep living the same. You've got to challenge your old assumptions. Ask better questions. Questions like, what do I believe about money? What do I believe about success? What do I believe about me? Because if your beliefs say, I'll never be more than average, then guess what? You'll never rise above average. If your beliefs say, I'm not lucky, I don't have connections, I wasn't born for this, then life will reflect that script. But change your beliefs and the world starts to open up. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't happen overnight. A new philosophy takes time. It takes intention. It takes work. But it's worth it. Because it rewires the way you show up. It turns frustration into fuel. It turns fear into focus. It turns problems into possibilities. I started reading when I was broke. Not because I had time, but because I couldn't afford not to. And with every page, my philosophy shifted. And so did my life. I learned that you don't have to change what's outside. You just have to change what's inside. When I changed the way I thought, I changed what I attracted. New mindset, new habits, new opportunities. That's how it works. The truth is, your life today is a reflection of the philosophy you had yesterday. So if you want a different tomorrow, start building a different philosophy today. Ask yourself, what do I need to unlearn? What do I need to start believing? Who do I need to become? Because a new life isn't found, it's built. And it starts right there, between your ears. Let me tell you something important. You are not who you used to be. And you don't have to keep pretending that you are. You cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep reading the last one. Some people are still reading from an old script, a script someone else wrote. A script filled with limits, excuses and fears. They say, I've always been this way. That's just who I am, bud. People like me don't change. No, that's not truth. That's a tired line from a tired story. And if you keep rehearsing that script, you'll keep living the same life. You see, we all have a script, a mental program. It was written by your childhood, your environment, your failures, and your fears. But here's the good news, you can rewrite it. And you must. Because you can't walk into a new life dragging around an old identity. If you see yourself as small, you'll act small. If you believe you're average, you'll never stretch above it. If you carry guilt, shame, regret, you'll stay stuck in a version of yourself that no longer exists. It's time to burn the old scripts. You're not that person anymore. The one who gave up too easily. Not anymore. The one who made excuses instead of progress. Not anymore. The one who settled for less than they were worth. Not anymore. You've learned. You've grown. You've paid the price in experience. Now it's time to step into who you're becoming, not who you were. But here's the challenge. Old scripts are comfortable. They're familiar. They whisper in your ear, stay here, it's safe. But safety isn't growth. Comfort isn't progress. You've got to light a match. Burn the script and walk forward into the unknown. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it takes courage. But so does living stuck. So does waking up 5 years from now, still running the same tired lines. You see, your identity isn't fixed. It's fluid. It's flexible. It evolves if you let it. So ask yourself, what role have I been playing that no longer serves me? What beliefs have I been carrying that don't belong in my future? Let them go. You don't owe the past any loyalty. And you don't need anyone's permission to evolve. People might say, you've changed. And that's okay. That's the point. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to grow. You're supposed to outgrow the old version of you. It's called transformation. It's called becoming. And it begins when you stop reading the old lines and start writing new ones. Don't wait for the world to see you differently. See yourself differently first. Say it out loud, I am not who I used to be. And I am not finished becoming who I'm meant to be. That's the power of decision. That's the beginning of freedom. And it all starts when you burn the old scripts. Because your next act, it's waiting for you to step on stage. Not as the old you, but as the new. You've probably heard me say it before. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's not just a cute quote. That's reality. You see, environment shapes everything. Your thinking, your habits, your attitude, your expectations. It either lifts you up or pulls you down. And here's what I've learned. If you don't deliberately design your environment, it will design you. And often, not in your favor. Brian Tracy said, your life will be in direct proportion to the expectations of your peer group. Think about that. If the people around you expect nothing, talk about nothing, do nothing, then eventually, you'll expect nothing too. Not because you want to, but because proximity is power. It's quiet, it's subtle, but it works on you. Over time, you begin to think like they think, talk like they talk, act like they act. That's why your environment must match your goals. If you want to grow, you can't stay rooted in toxic soil. If you want to evolve, you can't live in a room full of comfort. Because the wrong environment will keep you thinking small, keep you distracted, keep you comfortable. And let me tell you something about comfort. It's the enemy of progress. Brian Tracy also said, you cannot soar with the eagles if you are pecking around with the turkeys. I laughed when I heard that, but it's true. So let me ask you, who's speaking into your life? Who are you learning from? Who are you listening to? Are they builders or are they breakers? Do they see potential in you? Or do they remind you of your past? You need people who stretch you, people who push you, people who won't let you settle. Because sometimes we don't need more motivation. We just need better company, a better atmosphere, a higher standard. And here's the truth, most people miss. Your physical environment matters too. Clean space, focused mind. Cluttered space, cluttered decisions. If your desk is messy, your day will probably feel the same. And let's not forget digital environments. Your phone, your feed, your apps. What are you feeding your mind? Because you become what you consume. Now don't misunderstand. I'm not saying run away from everyone. I'm saying get intentional. You can't leave your future up to random. You must choose your environment or it will choose for you. You want to become more. Then surround yourself with more. More ambition, more discipline, more vision. You want to rise? Then spend time with people who are already reaching. People who talk about ideas, not just people. People who are building something, not just complaining about everything. Because one conversation, one connection, one spark of belief from the right person can shift the direction of your entire life. So if you want to live at a higher level, start spending time in higher places. Don't stay where you're merely tolerated. Go where you're celebrated, where you're challenged, where people won't let you forget your value. The moment I changed my environment, everything began to change. Not all at once, but little by little, day by day, until one day I looked back and I didn't recognize my old life. That's the power of environment. So choose it, design it, protect it, because if you don't, it will choose you. And you may not like the person it chooses you to become. Now we've talked about the past. We've talked about philosophy. We've talked about the old stories you used to tell yourself and the people you surround yourself with. But let me tell you something, my friend, none of that means anything without this next part. Action. That's where the magic lies. That's where the change takes root. Not in your wishes, not in your plans, but in your feet, in your hands, in your calendar. Because here's the truth, the final proof that you've changed, that you've destroyed your past self and stepped into the new life is what you do. Not what you say, not what you hope, not what you post, what you do. Brian Tracy said, the future belongs to the competent. Get good, get better, be the best. But how do you do that? Through action, through daily effort, through consistent application of the new philosophy you've decided to live by. You see, ideas are wonderful. Vision is powerful. But the bridge between where you are And where you want to be is called behavior. And if your behavior doesn't change, your life won't change. Some people spend years preparing but never start. They read every book, watch every video, attend every seminar, but they never step forward. They confuse motion with progress. But motion isn't progress unless it leads to results, unless it changes your outcome. And only action can do that. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. So if you've decided on a new goal, a new identity, a new future, then the bridge to that life is called daily discipline, daily choices, daily courage. You see, action is what separates the dreamers from the doers. And more importantly, it's what builds belief. You can write down all the affirmations in the world, but if you never take a step, your subconscious won't buy it. You'll still be living as the old self, wearing the mask of change, but not embodying it. Because your brain doesn't believe your words. It believes your patterns. And let me tell you, the old self is clever. It will whisper, let's take it slow. It'll say, let's wait until the time is right. But the truth is the time will never be right. There will always be noise, always be fear, always be excuses. But Brian Tracy said, successful people are simply those with successful habits. And what are habits built on? Repeated action. Not once, not twice, over and over until the new becomes normal. Every morning you rise early. Every time you push past your comfort zone. Every time you show up when it's hard, you are casting a vote for the new you. And those votes add up. They compound. They tell your mind, this is who I am now. That's why it's not enough to feel different. You must live different. You must walk different. You must work different. The world doesn't respond to who you used to be. It responds to who you consistently show up as. So if you want that new identity to stick, you have to build it with action. Not just once when you're inspired, but every day, especially on the days when you're not. Discipline is what transforms desire into reality. And discipline is born in discomfort. You've got to show yourself that you can do it anyway. You'll be tempted to fall back, to reach for old patterns, to say, just this once. But just this once is how the old you survived. And that's not who you are anymore. You're no longer a slave to your moods. You're no longer guided by fear. You're led by your mission now. And missions require movement. You don't become the new you by thinking like them. You become the new you by doing what they would do. You act in alignment with that future self. You ask, what would the best version of me do in this moment? And then you do that. Not when it's easy. Not when it's convenient. But right now. Because every decision you make, every step you take, is either casting a vote for your future or dragging you back into your past. And friend, I hope you hear me loud and clear. Your past has nothing new to say. It's already spoken. But your future, your future is waiting for you to show up. And it's not looking for your words. It's looking for your footsteps. So take them. Take the risk. Make the call. Set the alarm. Write the page. Build the thing, show up again, and again, and again. Until one day you wake up and realize you didn't just talk about a new life. You built it. One small action at a time. You proved your transformation, not with emotion, but with execution. Not with passion, but with persistence. Not by wishing, but by working. That's when you'll know you've become the new you. And not a moment before. Because action is the final proof. Now go out there and live it. Well, we've come to the end of this journey together. But really, this is just the beginning for you. Because now it's time. Time to take everything you've heard, everything you've felt, and turn it into something real. You see, my mentor used to tell me, don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. And I've carried that with me ever since. Because if all we do is listen, reflect, and nod our heads, but never move, never shift, then we're still stuck, still locked in the past, still chained to the old version of ourselves. But I believe in you. I believe there's something stirring inside you now, something ready to rise, a voice that says, no more waiting, No more excuses. No more living small. You've spent enough time remembering who you were. Now it's time to decide who you're going to be. And you know what? That new version of you, the stronger, wiser, disciplined version, that person is not far away. They're just on the other side of consistent action, on the other side of discomfort, on the other side of decisions made with courage, not fear. You are one new habit away, one shift in philosophy away, one act of discipline away from becoming someone you'll be proud of. So today, let today be the day you stop running from your past and start running toward your future. Let today be the day you stop trying to fix the old self and start building the new one. Because the new life, it's not out there somewhere. It's right here waiting for you to show up. So take the first step, then the second, and don't stop. Keep going until the new you becomes unmistakable. And one day you'll look back, not in regret, but in gratitude. Grateful you had the courage to destroy what no longer served you. Grateful you had the vision to see what was possible. Grateful you became the person you were always meant to be. And that is the real reward. Now go and live it.